Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. It is Laura here, and we are going to talk about these energies for the week ahead because we have such a pivotal shift happening for the Twin Flame Collective. We are closing out this Grand Water Trine wave of energies, and this is the pivotal moment where we walk away to walk back home to ourselves. This is a week of embodiment, illumination, and emotional clarity. If you are new to the channel, hi, my name is Laura. Hit that subscribe button down below. I'm a twin flame guide, channeler, coach, astrologer, and reader. And this week we are moving through some significant energy shifts, and this is huge, connected to the twins, connected to emotional clarity, and this karmic closure that we've been talking about for a long time. We are at a turning point for the Divine Feminine Collective. This is the week where the feminine steps into full embodiment of her truth, her mission, her path, and she walks away from everything misaligned. We're walking away from confusion. We're walking away from the karmic relationship cycles that have kept us tethered to the past, is what this feels like. And so as the feminine rises, the masculine feels that pull. He feels that energetic shift. And this week I feel is just huge, right? Because the collective can no longer stay asleep. And the feminine rising is what we need to shift these energies. So let's break it down day by day. On Tuesday, October the 28th, we do have Mars in a trine to Jupiter at 24 degrees 48. This is the Divine Feminine Collective walking away. Queen of Wands, Eight of Cups. No longer staying in a state of confusion, no longer staying in a state of illusion, and walking away from everything misaligned. This is the visionary leader energy, right? The Queen of Wands upright. She fully chooses herself. She chooses her peace. She chooses her higher path, her higher mission. And when the feminine rises in that strength of self-worth, the masculine collective feels it. Trust me, they feel it. And so the feminine is the spark. She is the spark that creates movement, that inspires the collective. And then I do feel with this shift, we're going to see that first wave of divine masculine in the collective preparing to take action from that space of truth rather than fear, rather than avoidance, okay? Then we move into Wednesday. We've got quite a bit of activity happening on Wednesday. We have Mercury in a trine to Neptune retrograde in Pisces at 29 degrees 50, Three of Wands, 10 of Cups. It's the manifestation of emotional fulfillment, but we also have to take action towards creating that. We are then going to have Mercury entering into Sagittarius, and it will almost immediately oppose Uranus retrograde in Gemini at 0 degrees 21, the Fool and the World. And so we are completing these cycles. We are stepping towards enlightenment, accomplishment, completion, and we're getting ready to free fall into this new cycle, even if we don't know exactly where it is that we're going yet. And then we are also going to have Mars in a trine to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So we've got Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy at play, and we are digging deep. This is the masculine collective feeling that shift, and they're feeling it with the archetypes of the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, the two fastest moving knights in the deck. And so divine communication, downloads. This energy is like breaking the masculine collective open, and this is where the masculine needs to ground in spiritual action, those that are being called and answering the call. And so this is not just about desire. It is about mental discipline. It is basically where the divine feminine's alignment meets the masculine's momentum. And so there's going to be forward movement. It might not look exactly like it is that you want it to look like, but there is this sense that something is coming. We can feel it. I know a lot of the feminines I am in communication with, we feel this shift happening. And so this is the spiritually awakened space that the feminine is creating. On Thursday, October the 30th, this is where truth leads to transformation, right? Transformation isn't going to happen when we avoid, when we deflect, when we project. We have to be grounded in that truth. And we have Mercury in a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. Deepens conversations. This deepens the conversations, and there's massive magician energy here where we need to realize our words do create worlds. Our words are spells, right? It's spelling. And so what we say this week can initiate a new beginning, and it can also bring long-awaited closure. So I do feel it's important to talk about that. So we're being asked to speak truth this week. We are being asked to express what maybe we've left unspoken. And we do need to energetically release all of the stories of the past that are ready to be transformed, okay? Then on Sunday, November 2nd, we do close off the week with an opposition between Venus and Chiron and a square between Venus and Jupiter. And so this really is, I feel, a deep aligned heart healing moment, and it's going to be a little bit challenging, okay? Oppositions and squares create challenges, create a little bit of tension, because we got Venus that rules love, connection, harmony, money, values in Libra in its home sign, and in opposition to Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer. And so there's going to be themes around healing those wounds, I feel, this week. And it's going to trigger a lot of emotional vulnerability with the masculine collective, I feel. And I do feel this is where the feminine releases all of the past triggers connected to worthiness and that desire to be chosen, okay? Because we are the chosen ones. We don't need anybody to choose us. We do have to choose ourselves. And so there's really this prominent lovers moment with the Queen of Wands. And so this is, I feel, where the feminine chooses self-love. Nobody's going to choose us if we don't choose ourselves. And so we have to choose self-love, authenticity, and balance is a big message coming through. And the divine masculine collective will feel that echo throughout this energetic shift. And with Venus also squaring Jupiter, I do feel this is where emotions are going to run a little bit high. And there's passion, there's desire here, there's a longing for expansion. And so some may experience reunion energy. Some may experience a final release that allows healing and a realignment. And so the message was pretty loud. The overarching energies of this week is about purifying the emotional body, preparing the counterparts to meet from a place of truth rather than illusion. And so the feminine always leads through grounding in divine feminine embodiment, and the masculine then is activated to rise. And so allow your emotions to purge, to flow. Emotions are how we create manifestations. Our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions create the manifestation of our highest path when we release what no longer serves us. And so if this message resonates, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it with others in the Twin Flame Collective on the journey. If you are curious about learning a little bit more about your birth chart, I do have a free guide to the basics of your birth chart, comment free guide down below. And I also have recently launched a monthly astrology membership. It's a soulful membership where we dig into astrology. We build a foundation from the ground up. It's never too late to join. You're never going to be too far behind or ahead. So just click that link down below and join the Soulful Led Astrology membership. I'd love to have you join us over on the other side there. It's just a great place to learn and grow and to use astrology to align to our highest path. If you would like to go further with a personal reading, there will also be a link down below. But I think it's time we dig in with the cards. Let's see what the cards have to say, and I'll see you on the other side of the shuffle. This whole reading screams the tower is about to fall, but after the tower falls, the blessings do arrive. The first card out is blessed. Let's talk about this card. It's a 22 card, which also carries with it the vibration of the Fool, because key 22 in the tarot is the Fool card. And so this week's message is so incredibly powerful. This card to me is saying divine intervention. There are so many moments in our life when something oftentimes feels unexpected and it feels like something miraculous is about to happen out of nowhere. And oftentimes it's a blessing from spirit, but it usually often comes after total surrender, after a tower moment, right? And so if something is falling apart right now, if a relationship or a pattern feels like it's collapsing, you have to trust that it is divinely orchestrated, right? Because the tower has to fall for the blessings to rise. And so many in the collective right now are going through a total emotional cleanse, a release, and a redirection towards this new sacred partnership cycle. And these new relationships, they will be built on truth and not on illusion. And so we're going straight towards peace, because the second card out is the Peace card. And so it's a 23 card connected to the King of Wands archetype. This is where we find freedom in relationships without attachment. When two souls are aligned in their truth, harmony flows, and it just flows naturally. And so there's no need to chase, there's no need to control. And so this card, I feel, is a message calling us to detach from all of these temporary cycles, all of these temporary connections that have been rooted in fear or the need to control, or rooted in needs getting met, rather than allowing true peace to preside. And so we do need to remember, though, true peace begins within us, right? And so this week, Spirit is guiding us to return to the inner calm and to find peace. And in order to do that, we do have to radically accept what is, even if it means letting go, okay? Because we did get the To Be Fair Oracle card. It's a 38 card. So there's like a Queen of Cups energy here, which is, to me, saying you already intuitively know, right? There is also Libra energy at play because she's holding the Libra scales. And so there's balance, there's justice, there's karmic alignment. There is, I feel, a need to balance our lives out. And the scales are being recalibrated, right? And so Spirit, I feel, what this message is reminding us this week, we don't need to seek vengeance. We don't need to force resolution. The universe will already correct imbalances. Our job is to align with truth. Our job is to move from stasis back into a state of flow and to release all control. Because justice and harmony will always find its way where it needs to go when we return to a state of love, right? When we return to a state of union. Bottom of the deck, here and now, and look at that. There's a peak there. There is a new beginning here with a soulmate, a life partnership, a divinely guided soul connection here that has what it takes to go the distance. But we first have to stay in the present moment, right? So we can't keep looking back at the past, because the past has served its purpose. And it doesn't matter anymore. Leave the past in the past. The future, well, the future hasn't happened yet. And I do feel a need to recognize red flags, because she's kind of waving that red flag there. And so the message here, I feel, is really simple. The only moment that matters is this one right now, the present moment, right? That is what we are called to do on this journey, to be fully human and to be fully spiritual and to be fully present. Stop chasing the past. Stop clinging to what coulda, shoulda, woulda been. And the red flag, I feel, is a reminder to trust our intuition. We know when we recognize red flags, and oftentimes we ignore them. And so it's through presence in the present moment that we can truly discern truth from illusion, especially when it comes to soulmates, okay? So let's move on to the tarot spread, because the journey begins with the Tower and it ends with the Star. And after the Tower comes the Star. So let's journey through the Tower that is falling in the energies this week, okay? And so I do feel this is a story of a divine breakdown that is going to lead to a divine breakthrough, right? And so the Tower is a sudden realization. It's major life changes, and it leads to liberation, right? Because the Tower sets us free from a false foundation, a false belief, or a false relationship. And so something old is collapsing so higher truth can be born. And it's almost like Spirit is leading the collective to exactly where they need to go, right? And so as we travel through the Tower, we hit this Ace of Cups in reverse. This is the emotional release, right? This is also the purification of all of the distorted emotions. And this is also connected to the inner child healing, where we pick up on these patterns and we repeat them in relationships until we heal from the illusions, right? And then we go right into this High Priestess card, which is the intuition, right? This is all about intuition, divine knowing, having patience. And so the illusion is falling, our intuition is strengthening, and the feminine is being guided to trust her inner voice. Even if there's an external circumstance here that seems chaotic or challenging, Spirit is aligning the divine feminine to what it is that she cannot see yet, okay? And then the Magician, our words create worlds, right? That is exactly what I channeled, and I love that it come out. So on the card it says manifestation, empowerment, and preparedness. This is where the manifestation, though, is going to meet the challenge with the Seven of Wands. And then the clarity comes after that with the Seven of Cups in reverse. So 7-7, the number from heaven. And so what I feel here is the Magician is saying, remember that your words do create worlds. And so what we speak this week as our truth, we're going to manifest that into our being. And so really be mindful of what it is that you declare this week, because your words hold very powerful manifestation powers. And so I do feel there's a little bit of resistance here. There's going to be a little bit of pushback. There is going to be pushback on what it is that you're declaring. There is, I feel like, this test of faith as well, right? To stand your ground, to hold your vibration, to stand up for what it is that you believe in, because the illusions are fading away. And clarity is coming back up online. And so the fog is lifting, and the decisions that we need to make are going to become crystal clear. The bottom row starts with the Page of Wands, which is something new, something exciting. It's divine inspiration after the storm kind of clears, and it invites in this very fresh energy of excitement. Pages are like a clean slate of energy, like a clean slate to create a new endeavor. And then with the Knight of Swords in reverse, though, I feel there's a warning here, though, because we see the red scarf. Back to the red flag here, okay? I'm back to the red flag. And there could be impulsive or reactive communication, especially with all the Mercury, Uranus energy this week. There's a lot going on in the collective, right? And so we do need to remember to pause before we speak. And we do have to anchor in the energy of peace, because after all of these challenging energies, we are headed straight towards healing, faith, and renewal with the Star. The wish that you wanted, it's still alive. The Tower is destroying what isn't aligned with the wish. And so the Tower is never punishment. The Tower always redirects us to what it is that we actually desire. And that's what I feel going on here, right? And so the bottom of the deck is also very telling, because we get the Four of Swords in reverse. Oh, we get the Awakening card, or the Hanged Man in reversed. The Four of Pentacles in reversed. The Three of Wands in reversed. Oh my gosh. The Nine of Wands in reversed. The Hierophant. I love it. And the Page of Swords. Oh, look at that. To the World reversed. The bottom of the deck always tells a very significant story. And below the World reversed, we do have the Wheel. So what we have here is an awakening. I feel the awakening after a long period of contemplation, after a long period of, I feel, trying to control a situation or trying to hold on to an old timeline that maybe felt safe but was built on an illusion. And so Spirit saying you've outgrown that. You've outgrown maybe at one point in time what once felt like home, and now we're walking home to self. So it is kind of time to rise. It is time to step into this new frequency. So let's close it off with the final oracle messages. The soul healing card, once again, a 16 card connected to the Tower. So whatever is being dismantled or crumbling or falling apart It is for deep soul healing, okay? It says, align with your essence, see your true colors. This does align, like I said, with that Tower card. We are integrating higher dimensional energies in the collective right now. 7th dimensional soul codes. We're releasing ancestral and karmic blueprints that have kept the twin flame collective bound to cycles of suffering, right? And so we're going through this deep purification, I feel, of the soul star chakra, which is, I always call that the halo. It's the chakra right above the 7th chakra. And when it activates, we clear the generational and even oftentimes collective wounds in order to prepare for the age of Aquarius. And that's really what us light workers are here to do. And then the bottom of the deck, we get the 22 card. So we started with a 22 card with the blessed card. So trust in the divine detours, because it is leading us to the manifestation of our dreams. And so focus on your vision, seek satisfaction and contentment. This is just beautiful. We start with 22, we end with 22, manifestation. This is the full circle moment, is what I feel. This week is the full circle moment. We have everything that we need to create our reality. So focus on joy, focus on being present, and focus on your service mission and serve with love, because there is abundance here. There is union. And when we come into union of self, everything flows naturally. So the tower has to fall for the star to rise, is really what I'm feeling here. The divine feminine, I feel, really is stepping into the embodiment of peace and truth. Peace and truth. Blessed peace and truth. And the divine masculine, I feel, is awakening. They're awakening through the divine feminine's reflection and her redirection. And so collectively, we are tapping into the higher frequency of love. And so in order to tap into that, we do have to be rooted in non-attachment, and we do have to come into divine alignment. So trust the process this week. Everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to, even if you can't see the outcome yet. That's what I have for a message for the week ahead. If you would like to go further with me, check out the links below. I would love to get you booked in, and go head on over to the Astrology membership. Great place to grow together in a soul-led community. See you all again tomorrow.